Welcome back to another episode of the Cast Patrol podcast. You're joined as always by myself, Mick, Jimmy, and Age. This is part 3 of our pre-season team previews. In the previous episodes, Age, who we've covered?
Yeah, part 1, we started strong with the Rabbitohs, Manly, Titans, and Raiders. Part 2, you can go back and watch it. We did Dragons, Storm, Dogs, and Cowboys. And today, who are we doing, boys?
We're doing the Panthers, the Knights, the Sharks, and the Dolphins. So if you haven't heard your team yet, go back. And if you haven't heard it still, it'll be next week because we're doing 5 teams in part 4 and the final episode of the pre-season team previews.
100%. So do you want to start off with the 4-time premiers, the Penrith Panthers?
Yeah, we'll start with the reigning premiers, the Penrith Panthers. Previous finishers, second, but they won the comp. 2023, first, won the comp. 2022, first, won the comp. And year before, won the comp. Obviously, 4-peat.
Yes.
I think a lot of people probably don't want to see the 5-peat.
Yeah.
But
no one wants to see a good team keep winning. It's like tall poppy syndrome in Australia.
yeah,
You want to cut everyone down.
they just keep doing it.
If you're a Panthers fan, you'd love to see the 5-peat. But yeah, I thought of a little nickname for Ivan Cleary. We can
Here we
call
go.
him 5 and Cleary if he wins the 5-peat.
Yeah,
So that
right.
could be the yarn the whole year.
5 and Cleary.
Yeah.
I like it.
Will Ivan get the 5 and?
Looking ahead to their recruits, so 2 big recruits, Isaiah Papali'i from the West Tigers and Blaze Salongi from the Eels. Just touching on them quickly. Maybe you can talk one each. Isaiah Papali'i.
Yeah, I'll do Big Papa. I think he was a bit under his potential at the Tigers. We saw how good he was at Eels. I think, well, who's he going to be running off? Because if he's running off Cleary,
He'll be on that left
he'll be
edge,
on left. So
because
he'll
Martin's normally right.
Yeah, Martin
so
will be
he'll
right.
have to support whoever's there, Cole or Talangi. So, but I think he adds great experience and he's a powerhouse. He's still representing Kiwis. I think he's a good inclusion.
Yep.
And Blaze Salongi. Jim, are you excited to see him play? And what position do you think he plays?
I think we'll play 6. Definitely excited to see him play. He obviously played for Para last year and showed glimpses of brilliance. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see sort of how he fits into that Penrith side. I've always thought he would be a better fullback from what we've seen, but yeah, obviously in that Panthers team, playing 6 would be interesting.
100%. And departures, there's a lot here. So stay with us. Taruva, Luai, Fisher-Harris, Iongi, Peachy, Cleary, that's Jet Cleary, and Taylor
Very
May.
well played.
Very well played. But that's a big list of departures. We spoke about it for the other teams, but someone like Taruva, Luai, and Fisher-Harris all coming off the back of multiple premierships in a row, especially
Yeah.
Fisher-Harris and Luai, been there for 4 of them. The biggest loss out of all of them would have to be, in my opinion, Jerome Luai. Do you guys agree, or do you think it's Fisher-Harris?
I think they're both huge losses.
In different ways.
But then with Penrith, like over the last few seasons, they've lost players and everyone's like, oh, that's the end of their run.
Yeah.
And they just keep winning. So, but I think these 2 leaving will probably be underestimated. I think they're huge losses.
Like they lost Appy that year. Everyone's like, key position, hooker.
Yeah.
Mitch
Lost
Kenny
Critter.
came in, did a good job.
Stephen
Critter,
Crichton.
Yeah.
Birdo. So,
The list goes on.
yeah. Did we say kick out yet?
No kick out.
Yeah,
Kick.
so they lose heaps of play, but this is probably their worst losses, I reckon.
Well,
So
yeah, you're losing
Luai and Fish-Harris.
The
very
5'8" as
instrumental.
well, and
And
considering
you're-
his combination with Cleary all the way from juniors, it's a big loss. Even Fisher-Harris, he's what would we
He's
say?
their enforcer.
Top 3 front rowers in the game. Could be
Yeah,
top 2.
top 3,
Yeah.
top 5 at worst.
Yeah.
Best
So
could be
Warriors
top
have picked
prop.
up a great one there. Even someone like Taruva, I mean, had his moments up and down, you would say, throughout the year, but
Yeah.
on that finals run, the hard yards he was doing out of his own end just adds to that Penrith system. But like we always say, they got plenty of replacements in that massive catchment of area of Western Sydney. Where do you see them finishing, boys?
I think they'll be fighting for the minor prem. Yeah, they'll be fighting for the minor prems. They'll got them top 4.
Yeah, I think
no real surprise.
you'd be
I
silly
don't
to
think.
put him anywhere else unless
Yeah.
Cleary does something. I don't want to say it, but
No.
long-term injury.
Yeah, God
Yeah.
forbid he gets injured again.
Yeah.
But that's also key, right? Like when he was out last year, Luai stepped up and was brilliant for
Yeah,
him.
he was great playing halfback.
Like, so if, like I said, God forbid he goes down again.
That's the problem. If he does go down, it's going to be someone like Schneider leading
Big
like
shoes to
Talangi
fill.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when potentially their season could be derailed. But if Cleary's fit, they're making the top 4.
100%.
100%, yeah.
So we all got him top 4. No surprises there. Boom player. I'm going with Lindsay Smith. I think they've sort of earmarked him as that replacement for Fisher Harris to go straight in. And last year, he played for the Australian Kangaroos. So how much more boom can he go? But he's probably a smoky for State of Origin if he keeps his form up.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to become a real leader in that Penrith pack over the next few years.
Yeah, and we said that about, they obviously lose Fisher Harris, but then they've just got Lindsay Smith just waiting in the wings, played for the Aussies. So, yeah, I think he's in for a
Even
good year.
Leota's still there, who's such an incredible front row.
Yeah, Leota as well. I'm going to go Casey McLean. I think he'll play on the wing this year. Saw a bit of him last year for Penrith, and I think they've got huge ups on both McLean brothers, but I think we'll see a bit more of Casey because I think he'll start.
Off
He's
the back of a
already
huge,
played Kiwis, right?
Scored
huge
5 tries on
Kiwis.
debut.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, huge raps. And he's only like 19, so
Yeah.
good player.
100%. Another good player, Liam Henry. They're losing Fisher Harris. The minutes are opening up in the middle. Mick touched on Lindsay Smith. He's the obvious one. 25 years old now, Lindsay. And then, he's just progressing beautifully as a front rower. And this young fella's not too far behind him. He's 23. So I think within the next 2 years, he'll really develop. And
He can play a few positions in the forward pack.
he plays
as well.
second row
Yeah.
and in the middle.
Yeah.
Just a hard worker.
Probably be
Gets him
used a
far.
bit more in the middle this year, unless
so.
there's injuries, because they got Papa, they got Sorrow,
Yep.
and Liam Martin there at the second row. So I think Liam Henry will get a rise in minutes, and I think he'll grab it with 2 hands.
Yeah, but I think no matter who you look at for their predicted finish, Penrith's in everyone's top 4s, unless they're expecting a massive dip on the back of their big departures
Yeah,
into
it's just
River, Luai, and
But they've
Fish.
still got
majority
of that side is still there.
It's still there.
Yeah.
And
the
they
thing
signed
they do-
Talangi and Papali, who are
Yeah,
Publi is good.
two exciting
and the thing they
players.
do is, everyone knows their role within that team. Whoever comes in just does the role that the other person just did. Like when Schneider comes in, he plays very similar to Cleary. Not the elite level as Cleary, but he does
very
the same
similar,
things.
Does his job.
So,
Only thing to play devil's advocate, this is the year that they've probably had the most departures that affect that system. Wholeheartedly, like Luai and
Luai
Fisher
is
Harris.
big and Fisher Harris because he's their enforcer. So,
But
they're still a top 2 team. So the next team we're covering is Newcastle Knights. 2022 they came 14th. 2023 5th. They lost to the semis to the Warriors. And 2024 they came 8th. Just made finals and lost in the elimination final to the Cows.
Yeah.
So the last 2 years they made finals. Do we see him making finals again?
I think they'll struggle this year. I think they'll struggle. I don't know. I think they can't be as reliant on Ponga as they have been over the last few seasons. It is Ponga's team,
He does carry that attack.
but he's got to get some help.
100%. But there was a point there. Remember when we'd call in our podcast, "No Ponga, no problems."
And
So they had a
they
bit
went
of
on
a
that
period
run,
where-
They did.
Yeah, so they have had some success without Ponga because he was injured a chunk of last year and they did come 8th.
Yeah.
And the year before that was the Dally M year when they came 5th. And he
And
took
that-
them on that insane run.
13 in a row or whatever.
Yeah.
Which
So
is ridiculous.
Ponga's fitness is very reliant on where they'll finish.
Yeah. If Ponga's fit the whole year,
they'll
They
go-
can make
they'll
the
go.
8.
They'll go
Okay.
well.
Yes.
Like just looking at their predicted line, if you go through a few of the players, like the forward pack's generally quite strong. Like Jacob Saifidi, Leo Thompson, Kai Pearce-Paul, Dylan Lucas, Elliott or Frizzell. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Like
pretty
Frizzell on the bench, potentially.
Potentially.
That's a good benchy. Or you put Pierce Paul on the bench.
100%. And then even in the centres, Dane Gagai, Bradman Best, Ponga at the back. It's mainly, I think, why people have got question marks over the Knights in 2025 is their halves. They can't pick a halves combo. I mean, we might think it's Crossland and Cogger now, or Crossland and Sharp.
Yeah.
But who knows? I actually
Could be
don't know.
Gamble and Sharp. You just don't know.
The fact that you look at a team this late into the preseason and you can't even guarantee pick a 5'8" or halfback in that team is kind of worrying.
Yeah.
Like,
At least with the Warriors, you knew it was Martin and Metcalf, just not which way.
Which is-
this one's like, who's actually going to be in the halves?
just any team
Yeah.
has at least one half locked in.
Even their 9's not locked in because if Crossland's not 7, he might be 9 and Brayley might be
They've told
14.
Jaden Brayley to even walk as well. So there's a lot of things happening in between the spine there.
They've got to find some consistency, especially in their spine. I think last year, sort of where their downfall was, they chopped and changed their halves pairing and spine combinations probably too much.
Way too much.
So I think if they need to probably pick and stick and give him a crack
Yeah.
rather than just, if things don't go their way, they sort of change it up again.
Who would you guys go in the halves for the Knights to start round one?
I'd love to see Fletcher Sharp in there. I don't know if he's a 5'8", but I think he's definitely an X factor for the Knights. And we
Got a lot of speed.
saw a bit of that last year. So I'd love to see him in the 6. And I think from a game manager point of view, I'd like to see Cogger at 7 because I think Cogger's won a comp. He's sort of, your sort of that, typical 7 that you have in your side, steers the ship around and you let Ponga and Sharp,
Yeah, I do see Crossan more as like a ball playing lock or a 9.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit big now for a 7. I don't know if he has the
I'd
speed.
love to see him at 9 or 13.
Yeah, and he's a great tackler as well. So
Yeah, could
you'd
put a
love
hit
him in the
on.
middle there,
I
just
agree.
chopping
Yeah, the
people.
Ox, yeah.
I think Crossan's a better hooker. I'd put Jaden Brayley at 14, and I'd go Cogger and Gamble in my halves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll tell
you've
you
got
what I
Tyson
do
Gamble
love.
as well.
Their outside backs,
Yep.
a lot of speed and power. Gagai, Best. Mazu, he's all power. And then you got Sharp there if he stays on the wing. Or who else did they sign? Schiller from the Raiders. They
Another
lost Tuala.
interesting signing, Tyrone Thompson, Leo's brother. So he might do something in that pack, maybe fill the void of his brother, eventually leave him
Once
to
he
the Dogs.
leaves, yeah.
But obviously I haven't watched enough rugby to comment on him. But yeah, as you sort of touched on, I haven't really signed any recruits to sort of go straight into
Schiller's
that team.
the only one where I'm like, there's potential with
On
Schiller.
the wing, maybe.
It's a good backup for the outside
Depends
backs.
on obviously what they do with Sharp.
Yes, exactly. If Sharp's in the halves, that opens the door for someone like Schiller. And there's a few rugby signings. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this guy's last name. Manu Leleloa. How would you say it?
I don't know.
Sorry, Francis.
Sorry, Francis.
Taj Anand
Yeah.
from the Queensland Reds. And yeah, that's about it. And they've lost Mapalangi, Miles Martin, David Armstrong, Daniel Saifidi, Tom Jenkins, and Tuala.
Yeah,
So a bit more losses than gains.
100%. From what I've read online and conversations with different people, is the general consensus is if there's going to be coaches sacked, the first two in favourites wise is Adam O'Brien and Benji Marshall.
I think O'Brien's been favourite to be sacked for the last 3 years.
I know, but he's also
And
made
He's
just
got him
somehow-
to 5th and then 8th.
Like he's
And
just
before
somehow
that-
finds a way.
he's made finals 4 out of his last 5 seasons.
That's really good.
So
It's tough. I mean, there's teams that haven't even made finals in the last couple of years.
Especially because Knights aren't the strongest on paper.
Yeah.
And he's doing like a good job with the roster. But you're right. If they start like, 5 losses or,
Pressure will
Yeah.
mount.
5 losses, 1 win, 2 wins, the pressure's going to build. I can definitely see that happening. But,
the advantage
got
for
Ponga.
I back
the
him. I have
advantage for
faith.
Knights is playing at home at Newcastle.
yeah, it's a
They-
bit of a fortress, isn't it?
They just love their footy up there, and the atmospheres that they get in those games that gets you going.
Yeah, their fans are really loyal. They came
Yeah.
last year when it was like a tsunami pretty much. There was water
Yeah.
filled up to your knees. It was raining. The guy
Yeah.
came with snorkels and a scuba gear. Like they're showing up for you. So that's definitely
So
a positive.
predicted finish, lads. I've got him finishing 9th to 13th. I don't see him finishing bottom 4, and I don't see him making the 8.
I've got them bottom 4, but if they make the 8 or if they're pushing for the oak, I wouldn't be surprised. But from my ladder, I've got them bottom 4.
Yeah, I just don't have a great feeling with Ponga. Like he's a great player, but he is a bit injury prone. So I'm predicting about 4 to 8 weeks, give or take, he will be out.
Yeah.
And that's when, they might struggle. They might be good like last year. So, I don't like banking on injuries, but I sort of think they're going to be around that bottom 4. Not near the spoon, but on the cusp of that 9 to 13. But if I'm going to guess, I'll say bottom 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are our boom players, boys?
Fletcher Sharp for me. I think we spoke about him before. Whether he plays on the wing or plays 6, I think there's a lot to like about Sharp. Speedy, athletic. So, I'm looking forward to what he does this year for
And
Newcastle.
nice mullet as well.
Good
Forgot
mullet.
to mention that. Strong
Yeah.
mullet.
Yeah.
Mick, who do you go on?
I'm going Leo Thompson. I think 2025 is the year that he really stamps his mark in the NRL and says, I'm here, I'm a top front rower.
Even though he's leaving.
Even though I think that's more of a reason. Like his Knights are giving him the chance. He's now playing with his brother, and he's going to have that almost like, I'm going to give everything for the Knights. Right now, Dogs is next year mentality. I think there was times throughout the season where he showed in glimpses how good he can really be.
Yeah.
But
he's a good player.
Yeah, but he couldn't do it every week for the Knights. So I think Jacob Saifidi was probably their best front rower as opposed to him.
Yeah, I think Lee had a bit of a quiet one last year. Year before, he was really good.
Yeah.
He was their enforcer. He's scary. He's aggressive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good shout there. I'm going to go Dylan Lucas. I think last year was outstanding. One of their best players. Runs a great line. He's fast for a back rower.
Versatile
He can
as
play
well.
centre if there's an injury.
Yeah.
He's a try scorer. Yeah, great player. Great for your super coaches as well.
The next team we're covering is the Cronulla Sharks. So in 2022, they finished second, but they went out in straight sets to the Cowboys and South. 2023, they finished sixth, lost the first elimination final to the Roosters. 2024, they broke their finals losing streak, but they lost in the prelim to the Panthers.
Yeah, so it's a team that has a bit of finals experience now.
Yeah.
We'll go straight away into Adam Fanua-Blake. You know, they
They
get
haven't
a weapon
really
of a
lost
forward.
anyone. Yeah. And
No.
they gain AFB.
They lose a couple solid middles in Jack Williams, Royce Hunt,
yeah.
Samuel Healy, and then Finucane retired throughout the year. So they lose a few depth forwards, but getting Adam Fanua-Blake, you know,
Massive.
he's a missing piece of the puzzle.
And I think we spoke about the Sharkies before. I think they were probably missing that one forward, that one key forward. And they get that in AFB, which is such a big signing for them.
They got a big pack.
Yeah.
I just heard you say big, and it went straight to their pack. Let me just read out their pack for you. Adam Fanua-Blake, Oregon Kafusi, Nikora, Wilton, McInnes, and their bench, Talakai, Hamlin-Ueli, Hazelton, potentially.
That's a
And then they
stacked
got
pack
that Puru bloke as well. He's another unit.
from the Raiders.
So they're not lacking size, the Sharkies. And their backline stacked as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
You
Kennedy, Katoa,
Yeah.
Ramian, Iro, Mulatalo, Trindle, and Hines.
Trundle and Hines in the halves. Do you see Hines as a 7, a 6, a 1? Where do you see Hines?
I would love to see Hines play fullback.
I would as well, but I just don't think it will happen.
I think
Like,
Hines'
no
fullback days are
disrespect
done.
to Kennedy. Like, he's as safe as they come. But I think in order for the Sharks to go to that another level, I think they got to free up Hines. And whether or not that's putting him at fullback or at 6 or just putting less responsibility on his hands, but I would love to see him in the number 1.
Yeah, I think towards the end of the year, Fitzo gave the keys to Trindle, and he was their main man. He was organising everything.
'Cause
So
we-
he
yeah.
has to be the 7.
Yeah.
So if Hines is probably not going to play fullback, let's be real. We'd love to see him play fullback, but he has to be
Yeah.
the 6. I know it's not much of a difference, 6, 7, whatever numbers on your back, but just mentally, like, you let Trindle do all the boring stuff, kicking the corners, organising the
halfback in
players.
general.
Let him do that, and
Yeah.
Nico just runs and sets up plays.
Because that's where he excels anyway. I mean, he was one of the best running halfbacks. And like you said, H, he needs to be more controlling at times. And he's probably thinking, no, I want to run. I want to run first. But can't always have it your way. I think Will Kennedy, I love him. But I like Ison as well. They blooded him throughout the season. And he's been impressive in the lower grades. So I wouldn't mind seeing him at the back. But otherwise, the team pretty much picks itself.
A really well-rounded team. You know, even Atkinson on the bench, great utility. They've got great forward pack, good hooker, great outside backs. Iro was great last year. Rami and Ronaldo, Katoa. So it's pretty complete.
Only criticism on the Sharks is they're really good during the season. Sometimes people complain they get the easy draw, but they just need to go to that next level, closer towards finals or even just before it. Because we saw at times they shoot to start the season straight away, and then all of a sudden it just slowly drips down.
I just don't know about Trindle and Hines in the halves together. Like last year when they played in the halves together, I think they lost more games than they won, right?
Yeah, because I think Nico was a 7, but then Trindle was playing like a 7, and they were just
Yeah.
clashing. So I think they just got to sort out their roles. Trindle, you organise. Nico, you run, and you set up plays.
Well,
And-
they always have a handy replacement in Daniel Atkinson. They can slot straight in for whoever's out of form.
Exactly. But the thing is, he's leaving them next year. If he wasn't leaving, I wouldn't hesitate putting Hines fullback, Trindle 7, Atkinson 6. But the fact that you do all that for 1 year and then you got to put him back in the 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So,
And I think another big thing is Nico's confidence as well. Because I think we saw last year, once Nico's confidence was down, Sharks were flat.
Yeah, he
They
had a
weren't-
real rough patch, didn't he, Nico?
Yeah, and Sharks weren't playing good footy. So I think if he's high in confidence, I think the Sharkies are playing well.
Yeah.
He's playing well. So, all that noise aside, Hines such a great player. So I really hope to see that. I really hope we see the best of Hines this year.
And I think we will, just off the back of like Adam Fanor-Blake and then massive forward
Playing
pack.
off the back of Adam.
Because
like
he's gonna get it rolling. Brayley's gonna pop out. McInnes quick play the balls.
Yeah.
And then Hines is gonna get them back treading and he's running off the front foot.
Yeah, AFB poking his head through and then, you're already one step ahead.
100%.
So
Yeah, so that might unlock Nicola as a result because their combo was great when they were firing Nicola and Hines.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Sharks will be deadly this year. I'm going to go top 4 finish.
Yeah, I think top 4. Yeah, I agree.
Mick?
I want to say top 4, but I already used my top 4 on South, so I got to stay with it. So I'm going to give him 5th to 8th, but like I've really seen him finishing from 3rd to 5th. Even though it's not one of our parameters.
Yeah, it's just the question: can they go deeper into finals?
That's
they got pretty deep last year. Had to verse the Panthers.
They weren't terrible
unfortunately.
against Penrith.
No,
they were in the
good.
game.
So they're improving in finals. They're handling a bit better.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
can
say
they beat a Storm and a Panthers?
No, that's the only thing. I'm not saying their window's closing anytime soon, but eventually they won't be able to keep this same roster and under the cap. Like you got some Origin representatives in there. They're on top international representatives in Fanor-Blake and Nicola. Like it's only a matter of time before they either get poached or they're going to start requesting more money. So even like someone like Ido, who's an absolute weapon. And
is he your boom player, Mick?
yeah, he's my boom player for the Sharks. I mean, we saw how good he was in 2024. I think he's going to take it to another level this year. Surprisingly, I didn't realize how old he was, considering I thought he was a rookie. I think he's
he took a lot of time to crack that team. Yeah, he was just there
so
in and
good,
about
though.
the whole time. Everyone always rated him.
Yeah.
But he never got a proper crack.
Yeah.
And as soon as he got given that jersey in centres, he was outstanding.
20 carries a game, strong defense.
Great runner, great tackle breaker,
Yeah.
offloads,
player.
try assists. He has it all in attack.
Yeah.
And he's got Ronaldo outside of him. So it's a deadly left edge there.
Yeah, I like that. Jimmy, who's your boom player?
I'm going to go AFB. I don't know if he's much of a boom player.
How can you boom more than he already is?
Well, it's a new team.
Yeah.
New team, new system, but yeah, I think he'll be great for the Sharkies. I think they've been missing that sort of one key forward, and they've got their man now. So yeah, big things for AFB.
Looks like he lost about 5 kilos
Looks
as well.
fit
Looking
as well.
really fit in the training
good.
photos.
Looking good.
But he's probably going to play less minutes. So
You reckon?
I think, less than he was at the Warriors. He was playing massive minutes at the Warriors. So I'm probably thinking like 55, 65 minutes.
Which is more than enough.
It's enough, yeah. But he'll be explosive now if he's fitter.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Tricky Trindle. I think he has to be 7. He's got to own that team.
Yep.
Take all the responsibility off Hines because that's just going to benefit the team overall. And I think he had some great games where he was kicking 40-20s, try assists, and he was getting man of the match.
Yeah.
He just got to find consistency.
Would you give Trindle the goal kicking as well, or is Hines still the better kicker?
For Supercoach purposes, let's leave it
I
with
think
Nico.
Nico's the better kicker. I'd leave Nico there.
Yeah. Yeah, he does have his queries when it comes to those pressure kicks, but that will just come with building his confidence.
All right, the last team we're going to preview today, the Dolphins. So in 2023, they finished 13th, and last year they finished 10th. So improving year on year. What do you reckon about this year, boys? Dolphins. No Wayne Bennett.
That's what I was going to bring up. Wayne Bennett, unfortunately, as good as he is, he sometimes leaves trail marks at clubs he leaves just either by chance or his own doing. I don't know. But
Or the fact he's not there anymore.
He's not there,
You know,
exactly.
the master coach himself.
But do you reckon he was sort of in the background last year anyway, and Christian Wolf was sort of calling the shots?
Well, I feel like as soon as he signed with South, there was a downfall in the Dolphins, their performances.
Yeah.
So he might have taken a bit of a backward step to give Christian Wolf a bit of experience in the role.
Yeah.
And maybe he was focusing a bit on South for next year. But yeah. I don't know. That's the question. Like, will they drop because they don't have the master coach there?
Yeah.
I have them dropping personally, just based on like losing not the biggest names, but they're losing a lot of players that would have made up a good number in their pack. Like Ewan Aiken was one of their best forwards last year. Jesse Bromwich retired, his big loss, and captain from memory. And then Tavita Pangai Jr., I know he wasn't that good, but he was still a big body in their pack. Whereas now we're probably looking at Daniel Safidi and Felice Kafusi in their front row, who's not scary at one bit, respectfully.
I don't mind their recruits, though. I love what they've done with their recruits.
Yeah.
Junior Tupou, I think he's a good player.
Yeah. Powerful, good depth player.
Yeah. Finafiaki's a gun from the Cows.
Yeah, that's
he'll
a
be
great pickup.
That's a very good
He's gonna
pickup.
be
Cows will be
damaging.
regretting that one.
Yeah, I think now they are. Daniel Saifiti we touched on. He's obviously very experienced forward. He's played Origin as well, so it's a good addition. And then Max Feeney as well from the Dragons. So bit of depth.
He had a decent year last year, so they do have some depth in the backs there, and they have depth in the forwards. Maybe let's go through this team list before we decide where they're going to finish, Jim.
Yep.
So fullback, you got the Hammer, exceptional player. Wingers, Asako Bostock,
Not much
very
change.
solid there.
Yep.
Bostock, he had a great year last year. Another one, Farnworth. Jeez, he's a freak. Top 3 centre, top 5 centre.
He's one of the best centers in the game.
He's incredible.
He's so good.
And partnering him, Averillo, the speedster.
Yep.
Halves are where it could go either way here with Nikorima and Katoa 7.
I love Katoa.
I do love Katoa. He's young. He's composed.
Yeah.
He's cool under pressure. Killed it for Tonga.
Good in defense as well. Puts his body in front. He's not scared. He doesn't shy away from defense.
And he really straightens up in attack.
Yeah, really
So
good
hopefully
player.
unlocks his running game and he'll be unstoppable.
Yep.
Front rowers, Mick said, a bit weak, but Saifiti and maybe pushing Gilbert to front row
Potentially,
could
yep.
allow you to play Finufiaki and Lamelu second row, and then Plath at lock. Plath's
great.
He's
Plath
a
was good
gun.
last
He'll
year.
play State of Origin this year.
He's
He's
a
an
gun,
unbelievable player.
He's a bulldog, isn't he?
Oh, he's so... And he can play hooker, like JMK hooker as well. Great hooker. And their bench, a lot of experience. Nichols, Stone, Kafusi potentially, and Bromwich. How many games on the bench there?
A lot of
games.
A little bit older bench. You probably want maybe to spice up with a few young players. I don't mind maybe even...
I think it's a good mix, though, of good experience forwards, and then you've obviously got the likes of, Plath playing his second year.
And you got fast players.
Finufiaki's still obviously young.
Yeah.
Gilbert, he's been around, but the poor bugger's been injured for, the last few
Was it
years.
back-to-back ACLs?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think he's huge for them coming back, Gilbert. I think he's a good player as well.
Yeah, he's really good and he's aggressive. That's what you need. So big inclusion there. Do we know what's going on with Flegler? Is he still...
He's
I
still unknown.
I don't think he's anytime soon.
Yeah.
No.
He's another one that's just hasn't played much footy in the
See, I think
last
that's
few
the
years.
big body that...
He would be...
they
Yeah, they have Flegler
because they
in
signed
this
him on
pack.
big money from the Broncos as well. So they would have been relying
And he's
on
a really
him.
good forward.
Unbelievable forward.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I don't see them improving too much. I think they might miss the 8. I'm going to go 9th to 13th.
I think they'll be pushing for the 8th, but I've got them 9th to 13th as well.
I have him in the bottom 4, but I don't think... I think like you had him
you
like
think,
you
like,
had Knights, sorry.
Edge.
The edge of that bottom 4.
So not Spoon.
Not Spoon. Like I don't think they'll be in spoon contention throughout the year, but I don't see him going higher than the bottom 4. Just based on losing Wayne Bennett and a few of their forwards.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
too
feel like
sure.
Katoa's the big...
He's a key.
The big
He's the
key,
key.
yeah.
If he has a career year and just goes on the trajectory everyone thinks, they can finish top 8 in that 7th to 8th.
Yeah.
But if he just doesn't improve too much, loses a bit of confidence, they could end up
They've got
dropping.
so much strike in the back line. Like Hammer,
Hammer's so fast, man.
So good.
Any little space is gone.
Herbie's gone to another level year on year.
Bostock's great in the air.
Bostock rookie
Big
of the
aerial
year.
threat, yeah.
Asako's experienced, and then Averillo, speedster as well.
Yeah,
So
had a
they've got
good
plenty
year.
of strike out wide.
I did read whispers that they're looking at Bostock trialing him at centre, and then Tupou comes onto the wing. Thoughts on that?
I like Bostock on the wing just because of his height and his carries.
Yeah.
He's good defensively with the high ball. In attack, it's an asset. I think
He's good-
Tupou's going to have to wait for an injury, but he's probably next in line there.
Yeah, for sure. And they got Max Feeney as well, waiting in the wings, who played plenty of first grade.
Yeah, maybe their forward depth, if they cop a few injuries, their bench might get a bit skinny. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty solid team. It's just the Wayne Bennett effect if it will, if it will curse them. Boom players. Who are we going, boys?
I'm going to go Tommy Gilbert. I think we'll see, obviously, knock on wood, he doesn't get injured again, but I think we'll see the best of Gilbert this year. He's obviously played Origin already, and we know what he's capable of. So I think he'll be a key player for the Dolphins.
I'm going to go Finufiaki. We saw at the Cowboys when given the chance he could step up to the test. I'm not sure if he's an 80-minute back rower, but he's definitely dynamic enough that 60 minutes would do him justice. And yeah, he runs a really good line and big second rower build, which I think is valuable to any team, especially if they're playing someone like Gilbert on the other edge, who's more of your hard-working edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very explosive, Finufiaki. Does he have good footwork as well?
Yeah, he's good. He's agile.
Yeah.
Good at the
He's just
line.
strong.
Good footwork. Yeah.
Scary. You wouldn't want to be a halfback tackling
Nah.
him. So that's a good shout. Speaking of halfbacks, Katoa, we touched on him. What he did for Tonga was crazy, taking him to a final.
Yeah.
And I think is he 20?
2021.
Like, come on,
Still
man.
so
That's
young.
what I mean.
He's
So
playing well
young.
above his age right now. I
Yeah.
think Joey Johns and Matty Johns and everyone's saying how good he is. You know, how calm he is under pressure, never looks stressed, always cool.
Like,
And
big
just-
kicking
yeah.
game as well. He's got a big boot on him.
Big boot. And he just needs to unlock that speed because the juniors, everything was just his running game, you know?
Yeah.
And now he's focusing more on like straightening up, setting up his players.
Hmm.
But that will all come with time. He's only young. So, yeah, everyone has big
If it doesn't happen
expectations.
this year, it'll happen in the year after or the year
Yeah.
after. Like,
Yeah.
it,
You
it's gonna
can't do
happen.
that for Tonga and just, you know, by chance. He's a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting.
Well, that's
So, yeah.
all the 4 teams that we've covered. So we had the Panthers, the Sharks, the Knights, and the Dolphins. Next week we got the remaining 5 teams. Couldn't tell you. I'm not doing the maths in my head. No, I'm gonna
Couldn't tell
try.
ya.
Can you name one? Try and name one team that's left.
The Warriors,
Warriors, yeah. Jim, who do you think? is left?
Broncos,
Yeah, we haven't done that. Have we done
Roosters.
Eels?
Eels.
Para, I was going to say Para.
That's
Eels,
4
Roosters,
and one more.
Jesus,
I'd
this
love
is
to
really
know.
testing our memory.
Who was it?
And the other one is
No.
the Tigers.
Tigers.
Oh, yeah,
Did we,
beautiful.
we haven't done Tigers.
We
No,
haven't
okay,
done-
there you
haven't
go. They're the
done
5 teams
Beautiful.
next week.
Oh, we named
And
it.
that will conclude our previews and then
Yeah.
straight back into
Normal
the
Regular
season will start
programming.
about then. Trials, you know, team lists, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too far away, boys.
Keen. Looking
Okay,
forward to
I'm
it.
pumped.
Well, that's all from me.
That's all from me.
That's all from me.
See you guys.
See you next week.